Have you ever found yourself in a hostile or toxic work environment? I know I have, and there were definitely moments when I felt like I could lose my cool. Tune in as we dive into practical tips on maintaining your sanity and staying out of trouble in challenging workplace situations. Welcome to Black Girl Infinite Allure, the podcast where we embark on a journey to a beautiful life together. I'm Jay Ebony, and as a Black woman navigating the complexities of lifestyle, relationships, and finances, I'm here to share insights, stories, and inspiration. Let's explore, grow, and thrive together. Enjoy the show. So, hey y'all, welcome to Black Girl Infinite Allure, another episode. I hope everybody is doing well. It's been quite the week for me. Um, what did I do? So, last weekend was good and semi quiet because two kids were with their dad. I did a lot of cleaning and laundry. Saturday night, I picked them up and I had my oldest son and my partner with me, and we all went to Sail Fest in New London, Connecticut. It's always been a thing that I try to do every year. I've been doing it since I can remember. My family has, when I was a kid, it was always a big thing. So when I became an adult, I was going, and then when I had kids, I'm like, we have to go every year. It's like, so they block off most of downtown. It's like maybe 3 streets or so. And it's like a 2 day thing. It's like a 2 day fair. But on Saturday, it's usually the Saturday after um, the 4th of July. But this year, it wasn't the Saturday after, but the Saturday after that. So it was 2 Saturdays after, which was weird. So um, that's the day that I go. But it's like a big fair on the pier, and they have like all types of attractions and rides and vendors, and it's like a big block party type thing. It's crazy, but Saturday is the day that I go because that's the night that they have fireworks. And I don't know if I'm being like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like, I can't think of the word right now. But if I'm being partial, because I personally think they are the best fireworks. Like, I've gone to fireworks everywhere, like in CT, but nothing beats the New London Sail Fest ones, in my opinion. I think they're the best. There's so many, they're so big, and they do these great shapes, and they're so long, and the finale is long. And but this year, I don't know what happened, like if they got cut short or something, because they started out great, and but the finale wasn't long like it used to be. But it's hosted by the um Mashantucket um tribal, or tribe rather, and they are the ones that own Foxwoods. So I love it. But I go Saturday. That's the day we go, and um, it was crazy. They had a lot of policemen. They all have like assault rifles and everything. I never usually seen that, but they don't play around with Sailfest. And they have like big red dump trucks like blocking the streets so cars can't get through. But it was fun. So my daughter Tori and she wanted to get on a ride. They didn't have that many rides, but the one that she wanted to get on was the Ferris wheel. And I was like, okay, I'll get on there with you. And as we're waiting in line, the line was so long for a damn Ferris wheel. It was crazy. I'm like, we're gonna miss the fireworks. I was like, you know what? If we're going up there, I bet that we're gonna be up there hopefully when the fireworks start. So we waited, and we were up there. We got up there, and while we were waiting on the top, the fireworks started going. It was crazy. It was so nice. And we're like, well, we got it. And the boys were down at the bottom watching. So it was very nice. We had a very nice time, a lot of walking, took some nice pics. There was some food we ate, and then we got out of there. And then I dropped them back off with their dad. They're supposed to be there for the weekend. So I was like, I'll take them to Sailfest because they gotta go. And I dropped them back off. And Sunday was pretty chill. Um, I don't know if y'all noticed, but the music has changed. It's been a struggle. Spotify done messed me up. Got me messed up in the game. They switched up the way that the podcasts are recorded. So Sunday was a rude awakening as I was relearning how to do all of this. So the sounds may be a little different while I figure this out, but I'm relearning how to do all of this and just bear with me. I spent all week trying to re-record certain things, but it's okay. I'm thankful because I think it's back better than before. So that's that. And work this week was only 2 days in the office. It was pretty quiet, but got a lot of work done. And my aunt turned 94 on Tuesday. Crazy. My aunt Fanny. So shout out to her. I love her. It was overall a good week. So work wise it was good. Dealing with my teenage son, not good. If you have friends that are mothers to teenagers, check on them. Are they doing okay? Because this shit is rough out here. So, this week we are going to be talking about working in a toxic or hostile work environment. I know that most people have gone through this or are currently going through this, and I know I have. And I just want to share some tips with y'all about how you can get through it because we can get through it. First, what I consider to be a toxic or hostile work environment would be one where your boss is always micromanaging you and or belittling you, like talking to you like pretty much like you don't know what you're doing or like you don't understand much. Like that's the worst. Or just constantly hovering over you. Oh, did you do this? Did you do this? Make sure this is done. I need this done by this time. Oh, is it done? Oh, just constantly like, no, let me have my own timeline and way of doing things, and it will get done when it needs to be done. The deadlines will be met. So that's terrible. It could also be, in my opinion, maybe your job makes it hard or impossible for you to take time off. Like, what? Isn't that why we have time off? I cannot stand that. I'm blessed to have a place where I can to have a job where I can take time off when I need to, but some places, if they even give you time off, you may have very little time off, and or some places may you request time off and they may give you a hard time always denying it. I think that's ridiculous. Or asking you, which I don't believe they're supposed to be asking you if you are out sick or whatever reason, why you're calling out, why you need this time off. None of your business. This is my time. I work for it and I want to take it, period. Coworkers. Coworkers. It's always them. They can make it an environment extremely toxic if they're constantly trying to. I'm sorry, y'all hear that? My kids are mad loud, but I can't even record in peace. But no, you have coworkers that may be constantly trying to throw you under the bus, and or but they act differently towards you while you're in their presence. Just fake. So those are the people that you need to, when you go to work, don't tell no personal information to them. Keep it very professional, just work stuff, the bare minimum with them, because those are the type of people that get any type of information about you and try to use it against you. You might feel like you don't have anyone that you can trust at work, and believe that, because that's what it is. Always CYA, cover your ass. So, in many situations, this can include HR. You know, that is the worst, to have an HR rep that you can't even trust. I mean, to be real, you can't really trust HR anyway because they're there for the company and their best interests, not yours. So remember that. But there are endless ways that a work environment can become toxic. So, how can you tell if you're being negatively affected by your toxic work environment? Um, there are three ways that I can tell the most. Your health will start to decline. You can experience extreme stress, anxiety, and even depression. And also, you can tell if your life and relationships at work and at home may begin to suffer. So, let's go over some tips on staying healthy in these hostile work environments, because that's the most important. If you're not staying healthy, then it will continue to affect you and your loved ones, and it's just going to get worse. So, here are a few. You can set boundaries. So, when you're setting boundaries, you have to determine what kinds of behaviors are acceptable to you and what behaviors are unacceptable. So, get clear about this and communicate it to your colleagues in an assertive, professional manner. So, if there are situations where you feel as though people are crossing the lines and you don't like to talk to certain individuals, keep it only emails, only communicate with them through email. So you have everything in writing, and just make sure that you're also drawing that line between professional and friends, because they ain't your friend, most likely. So it's not worth even trying to make friends with them. Just they're co-workers. You have to keep them separate. So be very clear about that. You can also seek support. So build a network of friends and family um, at home. I mean, outside of work, if you can at work, because there are some people in work. Like I know I have a support, or had a support system at work. But these people should be your support system, and possibly help provide advice. Professional support from a counselor may also be helpful. So sometimes you can find somebody, like usually when it's in like mostly like corporate America, like all white spaces, and you're the only black girl, and there's another black girl, that it ain't all the time, but sometimes when there's another black girl, y'all both going through the same thing. Because I know at my job, when we got another black girl, like we were always, and I was training her too, and she's great. Like she was going through some stuff that I wasn't even dealing with, and we were always talking to each other, being supportive. And I would always have to talk this girl off a ledge. I'm like, listen, don't let these people drive you crazy. Like, just do what you got to do. You know you're a good worker. Do what you got to do, and just don't let it ruin, everything for you outside of work. And she she ended up leaving, but we still talk. So I love her. She's doing good. Um, you have to also remember to practice self care. So there are basics to practicing self care, such as prioritizing your physical health and mental well being. You can do this by exercising daily, getting proper nutrition and adequate sleep, and promoting relaxation by doing things such as meditation and yoga. I know. I'm trying my hardest to stay on a good, like, workout regimen because it really does help. Especially that even helps with my sleeping. Like I don't have an issue with sleeping at all. Like I sleep like a rock, but it helps me on the rare occasion that I might be restless and I'll fall asleep so easy because working out gets me like that. But meditation and yoga, meditation I like to do that every day. Yoga I'm trying to get back into, but it really does help. So y'all, let's do it together because I need to get back on my yoga stuff. I just got some more yoga stuff on that and another ball. So yeah. But in addition to that, self-care comes in many forms and it looks different for everyone. So you may find other ways to partake in self-care. I consider self-love a part of mine, and I make a routine and a habit out of it. I always make time for myself, and you should too. You can do things like journaling and learning spiritual practices that make you feel good. So those are whatever it looks like to you is what you can consider your self-care. Another thing you must do is document incidents. So always be sure to keep a notebook or use notes on your phone to document any and all hostile encounters at work. Be sure to keep detailed notes of behaviors and by whom, dates of occurrence, times, locations, in case you need to report any situations to HR or seek legal advice. So keep your receipts. I once worked at this courthouse that I was transferred to because it was in my county. So we technically could go to any courthouse in that county. And I had to go, I was in family court, just living life. It was like so easy, a breeze. I loved it. And then the criminal court in the same county ended up needing assistance, and they call it the snake pit. I'm like, what? So I go over there. I was miserable over there. Like I had a whole bunch of time off that was already approved for the rest of the year because in the beginning of the year I take time off. I take my time off. I request it for the whole year that I need the days. And so I had it already taken care of. So come Thanksgiving, they're like, I didn't get that day off. I'm like, how? All my stuff transfers over. I'm supposed to have that day off. They're like, oh, it's literally, it was Black Friday. I had never worked a Black Friday. And they said, oh, it wasn't approved because we're going to be short staffed. Who's coming into the courthouse on Black Friday? Nobody. So that's okay because I had something for them. I called out. I didn't know most jobs, when you call out after a holiday, you don't get paid. I was willing to risk it. But for the state of Connecticut, apparently you do. So that worked out for me. But that was just ridiculous. And then I had this coworker that sat behind me who literally, if I looked at my phone, she would say something to the boss, like, and they're like, you're not supposed to have your phones out. Like, you could not have your phones out at all. And I was like, oh, no, this ain't gonna work. I would call my boss back at the other courthouse, be like, I don't like it here. This woman behind me is driving me crazy. And she was the one that was like, write down everything that she does and says and times and everything. And she's like, and I'll take care of it. And I would just tell her all the time, like, I'm ready to come back. Like, I don't like it. And they ended up sending me back. So I didn't have to use that, but she was just too much. Like I did not like that girl. It was crazy. So definitely keep your receipts. Another thing is to always, always, always remain professional. Continue to remain professional in your interactions and in your work as a whole. Remaining professional helps to keep your reputation protected and it helps to make it easier to address any necessary issues with management and or HR. Remember, you can cuss somebody out professionally. I do it all the time. Let them know about themselves, but also know that you're not taking any shit. Limit exposure. So this means to minimize your interactions with hostile individuals, period. Limit that shit. Be sure to keep communications indirect, like I was saying earlier, via email or other means to avoid any unnecessary confrontations. You don't want nobody trying to rile you up. If you already know you don't kiki with that person, y'all not on the same level, they're always trying to push you, stay away from them. Um, Develop coping strategies. Oh, and actually, go back to the last one. If there is somebody like that and it's somebody that you kind of have to deal with, let your boss know that you don't feel comfortable. and let them deal with it. But also develop coping strategies. So practice techniques that can help keep you calm and centered. So practices um, that you can take are actions that help you practice self-management, such as deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, and mindfulness. So you got this. You can do it. What I like to do when I get into work, I actually do breathing, and that's when I do my breath work when I get in there. If none of that's working, even if it is, another thing that you can do is seek professional help. So if you begin to feel as though your work environment is too hostile to the point that it's too overwhelming, please seek help from a mental health professional. They should be able to help provide strategies and support that are tailored specifically for your situation. So you also want to explore alternatives. So at the end of the day, it's important to be in a healthy work environment. Nobody deserves to work in hostility. Nobody. So if you feel as though the job is worth working through, by trying these tips, try it. If you feel as though the environment is getting worse and nothing is helping, it may be time to try to explore other job opportunities. So please search for a new job in an environment that is supportive and healthy for you. That's the most important thing, because if it's not healthy and you're working on it, it's not getting better, you gotta go, because your health is more important. And the very last thing is to know your rights. So be sure to get familiar with your workplace policies and know the rights that you have under the labor law. You should always seek legal advice. Um, I think that's important if it's necessary. So always do that and discuss your options for addressing workplace hostility and mistreatment. So those are my tips for you. And at the very least, be happy and be well. So I really hope this helps. So we have reached the segment What You Reading, where I discuss a book that I recently read. So this book that I read, I used the Libby app, and I read it from June 29 to July 11, so 12 days. And it's called Luster by Raven Leilani. She is a black author that I learned about, and so I've never read her books. But um, so this book was a bit too sexual for me, but that's my fault because I picked it. I should have known the name. Well, not the name, but when I looked it up, it was about a girl who is having an affair with a married man. I don't know what I was thinking, but I decided to try because I kept hearing about this artist. I mean, this author. But I'm not giving up on her yet. It was very well written still. Um, it just may not be my speed, this particular novel. Not gonna lie, I almost stopped reading it in the beginning until something interesting happened early on. So then I kept listening. And I liked it. I mean, the book was very good. And it was with a perspective I've never experienced in reading. There were parts that were a bit awkward and uncomfortable, not my speed, but if you like this kind of thing, it's great. I mean, I still give it a 7 out of 10 because even though it's not something that I would typically read, I think that others would definitely like it. So we are on to what's going on. And this part of the show is when I talk about something going on in the news or, on social media, pop culture, whatever I feel was the funniest. So at the time when I was writing this episode, this, the presidential debate was going on. It was June 28th. When you guys hear this, it will be July 20th, I believe. So, or actually the 20th. second. Either way, way after this, but it's still funny to talk about. But there was the presidential debate, and I didn't watch it, but my niece had sent me a clip where they asked Trump. They didn't even play the question that they asked him, but he had said he was like saying something about how the I don't know, somebody was taking the black jobs, but it was just he was saying black jobs, and everybody was like all over social saying, "What the fuck is a black job?" And I was just dying because oh my God, it was so funny. And then the things that people were doing on TikTok for the videos. So when I seen that, I literally I was on TikTok and I just made a video. Just I was walking and I made a quick TikTok and I said, "What the fuck is a black job?" And people ate that shit up. It went crazy. There's so many comments and they had the black and Spanish people and they're like, "That's what I'm trying to find out." It was so funny. But then you had the white people coming in there trying to eat me the fuck up. They're like, some people were like really being like, "Oh, they didn't play the question that they asked him. They asked him about black jobs being taken and stuff like that." And that's why he said that. And then some people, were just like, we don't think he meant that, or, this is what he meant. But then some other people, someone was like robbing and stealing. I was like, oh snap, that's why I'm not rich yet. I'm in the wrong profession. I'm not robbing and stealing. I was dying. Them comments was crazy. It was so funny. And then the most recent thing that went on where July 13th, where um, someone tried to shoot him. That was crazy to wake up to. I I don't know what to think about that because people got me like, oh, that was that was a ploy. He set that up. I don't know, but it's crazy. He's funny. I just think he's funny sometimes. He do be pissing me off most of the time, but he does say some funny stuff, and just the stuff that he be doing is funny. So that's the most recent stuff that have been going on. So I would like to share with y'all the infinite alert tip of the day. Okay. So this would be to give to yourself and your goals the same damn time, energy, effort, blood, sweat, and tears you give them people at your day-to-day 9 to 5 W-2 job. God damn it. Okay? That's what I have to remind myself every day. That energy that you're giving to them should not be so much to the point that when you come home, you have nothing left for yourself or your family. Like how are you supposed to pour into yourself your time off? Like what are you outside of that job? So how are you supposed to do what you got to do to have a better life if you're giving all your every ounce of you to that job? You got to give yourself the same thing. Okay? So that's the tip. But that is the end of the show. Um, Next week we are going to be discussing dating yourself. So that's going to be a very good episode. And so don't forget to tune in and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye. Also, I would like to apologize for the quality in this episode. I'm working on it. I promise it'll be better soon. Please don't leave me. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Bye. If you'd like to connect with me and join the Infinite Alert community, follow me on social media for updates, behind the scenes content, and more ways to explore boundless beauty in every facet of life. As of now, my social medias mainly consist of daily affirmations and updating you all with my blog and podcast information. You can check me out on my website, myinfiniteallure.com, or add me on Instagram and Facebook, both at Black Girl Infinite Allure Podcast, or follow me on TikTok at Black Girl Infinite Allure. For inquiries, collaborations, or to share your thoughts, email me at infiniteallurebyj@gmail.com. Thank you for listening and continuing to strive for all things infinite allure. And remember, I will also have this information in the description box. If you'd like to connect with me and join the Infinite Alert community, follow me on social media for updates, behind the scenes content, and more ways to explore boundless beauty in every facet of life. As of now, my social medias mainly consist of daily affirmations and updating you all with my blog and podcast information. You can check me out on my website, myinfiniteallure.com, or add me on Instagram and Facebook, both at Black Girl Infinite Allure Podcast, or follow me on TikTok at Black Girl Infinite Allure. For inquiries, collaborations, or to share your thoughts, email me at infiniteallurebyj@gmail.com. Thank you for listening and continuing to strive for all things infinite allure. And remember, I will also have this information in the description box.